that, like, man, I eat McDonald's these days, and I feel like I swallowed cement. Like I can't even get near that shit anymore. And I don't
All
know
I
what
get from
happened.
there
Like,
are single cheese, like normal cheeseburgers, and I really love them. I think it's like the best proportion, like meat to bun and the toppings and like everything. The flavors all work together, and then they're not so heavy. But other than that, yeah, I don't know. I don't eat anything else from McDonald's. Well, fries, but that, yeah.
I mean, their breakfast sandwiches are amazing, but like that McGriddle, dude, that is a rock. That is a boulder in your stomach.
True that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when you mix that sweet too with like the sausage and everything, that sausage, I don't know if you get sausage or bacon or what, but I do. I really even just like the sausage McMuffins. But like every time I eat one of those, that sausage just turns my stomach. I just end up
Oh
with
yeah.
just like there's like I got a rock tumbler in my stomach, you know.
Another thing, I mentioned they said to stay away from alcohol, which for this show does not bode well for me, but all the same, uh,
Well, it's not
I
like you have to
really,
drink.
yeah. But I'm not going to stop drinking. I am going to start taking it easier. But all the same, as far as alcohol alternatives, um, you're in Alaska where weed is legal. I am in Wisconsin where it is not legal.
Stool with Matt Nic.
But there is a new thing, newly available in Wisconsin, called Delta 8 THC, which I just had it. There you are. So I got this. This is unopened.
You got that new Delta variant.
What's that?
You got the new Delta variant there, huh?
I do. Yep. This one in particular is called Hippie Crippler by Verdure, I guess. It's a pre-rolled gram
Is
and a
that
half
like the
joint.
Swedish chef? Verdure.
Yeah, this is Bork by Bork, and it is technically legal because I didn't research too far into it, but it anything 0.03% THC or under is not federally considered marijuana. It's considered hemp.
Aha.
Which this is. It says 0.03 delta. Well, this says delta 9. They're changing shit up on me.
I thought
Anyway.
you had been saying Delta 9, and then when you said Delta 8, that threw me off.
Well, delta 9 is what like regular weed is.
Oh.
So I guess this says delta 8. It says ingredients: CBG, hemp, and delta 8 under 0.03 delta 9. So I guess it's a variant of marijuana, but it's not technically like it's quite the loophole.
Well,
But,
it's like
anyway,
when all that fake weed, like actual fake stuff, I'm like K2, I think it was called, right? Do you remember that stuff at
K2
all?
spice, yeah.
Yeah, there's different names, and the problem with like they kept trying to regulate that, but then they kept changing the chemical, like the way the compound was together, so they like move a molecule from here to there, and now all of a sudden it's a different thing, and it's not legal or it's not illegal anymore. That's why they just kept being able, and then they finally like I think just said like all types are whatever are illegal
Right.
or something, but. I know you can't buy that shit anymore, but anyways.
No, yeah. And I never personally did the spice thing or anything like that, but people who I know who used to be into that, usually they're like on probation or whatever. But doesn't sound like a good time from what I've heard.
Yeah, I used to get it once in a while if I was like really desperate to like want to smoke something, and it was at the gas station, easy to get, but yeah, I wouldn't say it was a bad time. It wasn't like salvia, which is like actually a bad fucking time. But it wasn't like it didn't taste the same. It tasted like you were smoking potpourri, and just made you feel kind of like something. So it was pretty dumb.
But man, I gotta give an honest review of this Delta 8. I gotta say it works for me. It's to give a summary of what it is, and like kind of what it feels like, it's very much right in the middle of the road between CBD and actual weed. And for me, who is quite a lightweight as far as like actual weed goes, that's perfect. So honestly, like it's not that I would never smoke regular weed again, but the fact that this is now, at least currently, we'll see how long it takes the government to ban it, but the fact that this is currently available to me is quite a leap forward in me not drinking as much, because I can just get stupid on this shit.
It's like it all came together, just in time for your gout.
Yeah.
You discovered that stuff. There you go.
Exactly.
Well, that's why I've
Learning
said
to
for
be a
the
healthy
longest
boy.
time, like the biggest hurdle for Wisconsin legalizing weed is the power that like the bar league and all the breweries and everything has, because 9 times out of 10 when you smoke weed, you don't want to go drinking beer after that, so it just it's completely counterproductive to them, and they know that. Like, beer sales have gone down, and I think even like drunk driving and all that stuff has gone down in states where it's legalized, And then you even look
what a
at
horrible thing, Wisconsin Bar League.
well, right, but that's what I was gonna say. But it's funny too, then, because then if you really want to like even take a conspiracy theory further, the cops also want it to be illegal for their own generation of money, So like,
Right.
And I shouldn't say they want it just for weed, but also all of a sudden you have drunk drivings come down and they're losing, revenue that way too. It's fucking ridiculous. I mean, obviously,
Right.
you would make billions of dollars on the taxes, on the weed itself, but nobody wants to acknowledge that much.
It's still laughable to me that, and I'm borrowing this point a little bit, honestly, but I've thought about it a lot. It's still really funny to me that like the government has had the same game plan of the war on drugs for this long, where it's just ban it, make it illegal, and just put everyone in prison that wants to have any part of it. And how have they not, in 100 years, how have they not seen that doesn't fucking work? Like, all that does is create felons.
Well, that's like the conspiracy behind it as well, though, is like some people believe that they know damn well that it doesn't work, and that it basically just puts, like, people view it as, because obviously like people in prison are disproportionately black or Latino or whatever, like, I mean, I'm not going to get into the whole story, but I did something that I could have went to jail for a very long time 4 years ago, and I ended up getting like a month and a half, and there was people in there that got like, and they were all black people, and they had gotten pulled over for their license being suspended, and then got like 6 months in jail for like a suspended license, or driving after revocation, or all these just super minor things, when they were just like trying to get to work like 90% of the time as well, So like, there's a lot of people that are like, well, it's not so much that they don't realize it's not working. It's that there's this whole like system, this entire infrastructure that's been built around, imprisoning people, and I mean, I'm not the most informed to speak about it, but I'm just saying, like, and I tend, since it has been 100 years, like 80 years since they've really been doing it, 50 for sure. But like 80 years going back to like the Reefer Madness, quote unquote documentary, or whatever you want to call that, propaganda, I should say. You kind of got to go, no, they know what they're doing. They know this doesn't work, but they also believe like that people that are smoking weed are criminals, or, that this is some terrible thing. It's just, I don't know. It's like, it's hard to say, like, when people have been brought up in like, say, a super Christian conservative family and taught like that this thing is really bad, and they have those beliefs, it's hard to like, then how do you convince them if they truly believe in their hearts that it really is some like evil thing? It just takes, as we've seen over the past like 30 years, or let's even go Cheech and Chong, like starting to normalize it in like the 70s and 80s, then more like weed culture in the 90s really blew up in like the 2000s, and it just slowly got more and more like normalized. But there's still, and it's always hard for me to believe because I haven't met any of these people myself in a long time, but there are still a lot of, very traditional value, marijuana is a hard drug, like tight-minded people out there, so I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with that whole point. I kind of started rambling because I knew I was too far out of my element.
That's fine, though.
On some of the topics.
But I mean, you're absolutely right as far as they do know what they're doing. I mean, for-profit prisons is a very big issue in this country. I mean, not to go down a rabbit hole getting too serious, but all the same, I mean, yeah, that is why they, law enforcement is against it, is because they need to fill their quotas, they need to fill their prisons, and prisons provide wealth and more funding and free labor to create fucking license plates and what have you. But as far as like it being legal and people with traditional values, so to speak, goes, like about 5 or 6 years ago, I was shocked to find this out. My dad would never say this to my face. But my buddy Kevin up north told me he was drinking in a bar with my dad, and my dad told him, obviously a little bit liquored up, if they made weed legal in Wisconsin, I might try it. And when Kevin told me that blew my fucking mind, because like I got my ass kicked for smoking weed when I was 17, not by him, as by my stepmom, but all the same. Like, just the utter fucking disappointment and, like, the harsh grounding and getting slapped around and shit, like, for just smoking weed, a few times when I was 16. And my dad admitted that if it was legal, that he would smoke it. Like, so what's stopping you now then? Like, what do you have against it? Like, you say it, like, do you still believe it ruins lives? But if the government says it's okay, then you'll do it? Like, what the fuck is that?
I mean, I guess that if that's some people's logic, which I know it is, obviously it's your dad's, but I've heard other people with, like, similar logic. Well, it's illegal, so therefore it's illegal. Just like I was in a discussion with somebody about that Olympic athlete who got the positive marijuana test or whatever, and now kicked out of the Olympics. Sha'Carri Richardson, I think her name is. So this person they were just making this point of, well, it's banned substance, so like you can't just assume that like because it's legal in America that we need to change the rules for the whole world. And like I agree with that. Like, she broke the rules, she did need to get banned, but like this person didn't want to accept that, like, but we do now have an open conversation that we could be having, like, about the fact that, it's not a problem and we shouldn't be banning athletes for smoking weed. Like, why is that even the Olympics' concern? Like, they should only be testing for things that actually enhance somebody's performance. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Well, they're not the police, they're an athletic committee. So, like, I was trying to have a conversation about, like, well, now that we're here, can we speak about it? And they're just like, well, no, we can't talk about it because it's against the rules, and she's kicked out. And I'm like, I agree she needs to be kicked out. She broke the rules as they exist. I'm not disagreeing there. But you need to understand that now we have the time to have the conversation as it's on the table in front of us. Like, you don't just go, oh, well, it's the status quo, that's the way it is, and throw up my hands in the air, and just keep just leaving things the way they are. You know what I mean? That's no fucking way to be. Like, because this person was even saying that they didn't think weed should be illegal and that they didn't think it should be an issue. But just, no, we can't talk about it, though, because it's, it's the Olympics and that's the rules. And, like, I don't see how does anything, Like, what?
No, it doesn't. And you're absolutely right. It does raise, like, this is the perfect time to, like, bring that discussion to the table. That aside, she posted about some some stuff about, like, if you support Lil Nas X, like, don't bother supporting me or some shit like that, which, like, I don't know, I have never listened to a single, like, Lil Nas fucking song, but if you don't know, and if anyone listening doesn't know, he's the rapper who did, like, the he's openly, very flamboyantly gay.
He did the cowboy song with Billy Ray Cyrus, right? Yeah.
He did that. He did that, and in a very recent video, he